In 2019, the Swiss Federal Statistical Office released a household consumption study tracking 4,200 families across 12 cantons over a decade. They expected to find thrift. What they found was something different. The average Swiss household replaced a major appliance once every 18 years. Not because they couldn't afford a new one, because they never needed one. Here's a woman in Bern. She's standing in a kitchen appliance store. She picks up a blender, reads the label, sets it down, walks out. She bought a blender in 2009. It still runs. You might be thinking, that's just Switzerland being Switzerland. High prices, small country, different culture. And you're partially right. But here's what the researchers didn't expect. It wasn't income that predicted longevity of ownership. It wasn't price. It was a single question Swiss buyers asked before every purchase. Not can I afford this? Not is this on sale? One question. 2 words. The Swiss call it Qualitätsdenken, quality thinking. Not quality as a luxury. Not quality as status. Quality as a filter. A decision architecture applied before money leaves the hand. Here's what Qualitätsdenken actually means in practice. Before any purchase, a Swiss buyer asks one quiet question. Will I still want to own this in 10 years? That's it. Not do I want this now? Now is easy. Now is always yes. 10 years is honest. 10 years exposes impulse. It exposes trend chasing. It exposes the difference between wanting something and actually needing it to be part of your life. The University of St. Gallen found that when buyers introduced a 10-year mental horizon into purchasing decisions, impulse purchases dropped by 63%. Not because they bought less. Because the question dissolved desire before it became a transaction. The desire hadn't been suppressed. It had evaporated. Here's what most Americans do instead. They optimize for now. The appliance is on sale this weekend only. The jacket is this season's color. The phone is the new model. The car has a 0% financing offer that expires Monday. Every purchase is framed as a time-limited opportunity. Psychologists call this urgency bias. The artificial compression of decision time creates pressure that overrides long-term thinking entirely. You stop asking whether you need the thing. You start asking whether you'll miss the deal, and the deal always wins. The average American replaces a major home appliance every 7 years, replaces a smartphone every 2.5, replaces a car every 6, not because those items stopped working, because something newer arrived and the window felt closing. The purchase wasn't a decision. It was a reaction. Qualitätsdenken works for 3 reasons. First, it replaces emotion with time. Wanting something feels urgent. It feels like now. The 10-year question introduces distance between the feeling and the transaction. And distance is where impulse goes to die. You cannot sustain artificial desire across 10 years. The feeling that made you reach for your wallet in a store cannot survive an honest projection into the future. The Swiss understand this. They use time the way a filter uses mesh. Everything that can't pass through simply falls away. The desire never had to be argued with. It dissolved on its own. Second, it reframes cost as lifetime value. A Swiss buyer doesn't think in price. They think in cost per year. A 200 franc blender that lasts 15 years costs 13 francs per year. A 70 franc blender replaced every 3 years costs 23 francs per year. The cheaper item is 40% more expensive over a lifetime of use. Swiss households do this math instinctively, not on paper, in their heads. Before every significant purchase, the number on the price tag is not the price. The years of service divided into that number is the price. Once you see cost that way, cheap stops feeling like savings. Third, it builds a home of things that work. The University of Basel found something unexpected in their household well-being research. households surrounded by objects they trusted. Objects that worked reliably, that were chosen deliberately, reported significantly lower financial anxiety than households of equivalent income surrounded by newer, cheaper goods. It wasn't the money, it was the objects. A home full of things chosen to last produces a quiet, stable feeling that researchers labeled environmental confidence. You reach for the coffee maker and it works. You open the cabinet and everything in it was decided. Nothing is temporary. Nothing is provisional. That feeling is not trivial. It is the daily lived experience of financial competence. Here is how to apply Qualitätsdenken starting tonight. Step 1. Write down the last 3 things you bought that you no longer use. Don't judge them. Just see them. This is your urgency bias inventory. The exact cost of purchasing for now instead of for 10 years. Step 2. Before your next purchase over $50, ask the 10-year question out loud. Not in your head, out loud. Spoken language activates a different part of the brain than silent thought. It forces honesty. Step 3. When you identify something worth the 10-year test, buy the best version you can afford. Not extravagant. Best within reach. Swiss buyers do not skimp on things they intend to keep. The cost per year math only works if the object actually lasts. Step 4. Track one category for 90 days. Appliances, clothing, kitchen tools. Pick one. Apply Qualitätsdenken exclusively to that category. At 90 days, calculate what you didn't spend. That number is your first proof. You stop buying things, you start choosing them. That is the shift, not deprivation. Not minimalism for its own sake. A filter. One question, 10 years, tonight. Find one thing in your home that didn't survive 10 years in your life. Hold it. Remember what the question would have saved you. Then write the 10-year question somewhere you will see it before you spend. The woman in Bern who set down that blender didn't feel restricted. She felt resolved. She already had one. She had chosen it. It was still part of her life because it had been worth choosing. You stop buying things you forget. You start owning things you decided. The Swiss don't buy less. They buy once. And once chosen well is always enough.